Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Yolanda here for all the newbies, and welcome back to the ones that are returning. I'm actually curling my hair, but I just want to come and tell my story of me having 7 C-sections. This video is so highly requested, and I received millions of views on a video that I posted, me having 7 C-sections, and people want to know my story and how was each one. So here you go. Okay, with and why I had to have C-sections. Okay, with my first baby, I ended up dilating to 5 centimeters, and I was going into dry birth because I went in to have to be induced, and it didn't go as planned. So I stayed in the hospital. I think it's like 48 hours or something like that. And I was in labor for 24 hours or so. I can't remember. But the doctor came in and he's like, okay, you dilate to 5 centimeters, but the baby isn't coming, and it's look like it's gonna go into dry birth, so we're gonna have to do an emergency C-section on her. I freaked out because I hadn't already heard about C-sections, and I was like, I'm not having a C-section, so I had a panic attack. So they ended up putting me to sleep. I didn't even know I was asleep, but I did wake up to a baby. Okay, so with my second, I just want like a little wave anyways. With my second pregnancy, I end up not falling pregnant when my first baby Paris was 5 months, and I end up falling pregnant with baby number 2 right after, and I end up I did not educate myself to know that I could have done a VBAC. Okay, so I ended up having that second C-section. Then I fell pregnant with baby number 3, London, and I ended up educating myself after baby 3 or during baby 3, and I went looking around to see if I could have a VBAC, because VBACs is what I've heard about, and VBACs means vaginal birth after cesarean. So, well, when I got pregnant with London, no doctors in my hometown didn't want to do a VBAC because they said it was dangerous and your uterus could erupt. I could open up my incision and I could possibly die. That's what they said. So I didn't do that. So, and then the doctor was like, okay, so, they would always bring those papers in. You gonna tie your tubes? No, I'm not tying my tubes, because they said you can't have no more than 3 to 4 C-sections. So I was like, I'm not tying my tubes. So I end up falling pregnant with baby number 4, and that's Dallas. And I end up going back to with the first, okay, fast forward with the first pregnancy, that doctor, he ended up getting kicked out of the hospital after I had my baby or whatever, for malpractice or whatever. Because I feel like, some of the doctors, they give you C-sections because it's more money for them, and it's easier to do. Okay, so back to baby number 4. I ended up falling pregnant with baby number 4, had him. Doctor's like, okay, you gotta tie your tubes, no more babies, 4 is it, whatever. So I end up falling pregnant maybe 1 to 4 years later. Let me see, Dallas is, 4.5 years later, maybe 4 years later, I fell pregnant with baby number 5. So after the doctor had done said that to me, I said, well, let me go somewhere else and have my baby. So I live in Richmond Hill, Georgia, so I end up going to Savannah, Georgia to have my baby. Found a doctor that would do my C-sections because I hadn't already had 4 C-sections, and I'm like, okay, 5, okay. So he ended up doing my 5th one. I didn't like the way that doctor, I didn't like nothing about, the way he did it. So, with my 5th C-section, all 7 pregnancies has been perfect, okay? So with after I had my 5th C-section in Savannah. I was laying down in the bed after they pushed me in the room or whatever. And I don't know. I just, if you speak things, you can really speak things into existence. And I feel like that's what I did with the C-section. And that's what I did with my 5th kid, because I went in saying that I don't want to hemorrhage. You know what I mean? Hearing about people hemorrhaging and stuff. Your tongue is so powerful, okay? Just remember that, y'all. It's very, very powerful. It's power in the tongue. I'm serious. So I went in saying, oh, I don't want to hemorrhage. I'm not going to hemorrhage. Ooh, this girl hemorrhage. I've been reading up on stuff like that. I read stuff, and guess what, y'all? The nurse came in to check me. I said to her, am I hemorrhaging? I didn't even feel weird or anything, y'all. I don't even know why I asked her was I hemorrhaging? I guess because I've read so much about it and stuff, and I freaked myself out. And guess what? I was so freaking hemorrhaging. And I end up, so she didn't tell me. She said, okay, I'm going to check you. She checked me, and she pulled out so much blood. Like, it was like a whole nother baby that came out of me when she moved my stomach around. Very bad. So she got on the phone. She went to her chalkboard because I think she was getting ready to leave. Her shift was up. So she went in, and all these doctors just came around me. Miss Hardy, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. Okay, well, we're going to have to do a blood transfusion. Did you sign the paper saying it? I said, no, I'm not doing a blood transfusion. I don't want a blood transfusion. Is there anything else you can do for me? So they came back, and he was like, well, okay, we'll give you some iron pills. They did something. So they sent me home with iron pills. They sent me home, told me to eat liver and foods that has just like, they give you iron. So, and that's what I did. I boosted my iron back up to perfect with the iron pills, and instead of having to do that blood transfusion that I refused anyways. So that was good. So after baby number 5, I end up trying to get pregnant again. Well, with baby number 5, one of the doctors came in. It wasn't my doctor that delivered me, but I think it was a student doctor or a doctor that was back there delivering with them. She came back and sat on the foot of my bed after that. She said, your uterine line is so thin, and you can die if you have another baby. So you don't need to get pregnant again, because you could possibly die. You'll die. And I was like, what? So what I did, I knew I wanted more kids, y'all. I knew 5. I wasn't being greedy, but I just knew that I was supposed to have more than 5 kids. So what I did is I went and I educated myself, and I thickened my uterine line. I started Googling stuff, what do I need to eat. I had all the peanuts and stuff. But if you want a story time on that, I will give you a story time. I'm trying to make this video short, but I can't because it's so much. So I end up falling pregnant. I thickened my uterine line, and I end up falling pregnant again. 4 years later. Is it 4? 5 years. 4 years later, yeah, I ended up falling pregnant. I was trying to have a baby. Fell pregnant, and I ended up going back home to have that baby. And I did a video on that pregnancy, and in the video, my doctor that delivered my baby. I went back to the doctor that delivered the second one and the other ones. So in that video, you can hear him saying, here's your last baby. But after he said that, I cut off the other stuff that he was saying, because I rebuked that, and I did not want that to be in my video, because I knew I wanted more. I knew I wanted another baby. So he's like, here's your last baby. Y'all, do not book her again. I do not want to see her back in my office. If she booked me, I'm not going to see her. That's what he said. And I'm on the table, cut wide open. I said, I can hear you. But he ended up sewing me back up, and he left. I said, I can hear you. That was rude. So, after that, I end up with baby number 6. I got home. I knew it's really good to be in tune with your body, because I knew something was off. I had a headache. And I had it for like a whole day, maybe almost 2 days. And I told my husband, I said, my head is hurting so bad. I said, and I just never had a headache like this before. He's like, oh, it might be a migraine. I was like, yeah. I said, but look, I feel like I'm just not losing my weight. I feel like I'm fat, y'all. Why? I was, so I told my husband, he gave me one of his migraine pills. What, baby? Mommy. 3. Wow. That is so cool. So I end up getting pregnant. My husband's like, okay, well, you could take one of my migraine pills, which I did. And if anybody know me, I'm not a big fan of taking medicine. I hate it. It's not my thing. So I end up, I keep saying I end up. When I took the medicine, I went to sleep, and I told my husband before I went to sleep, I said, if my head is hurting tomorrow, I'm going to the hospital. Y'all, woke up, headache was killing me. So my husband was like, okay, well, if you want to go, we can go. We ended up going to the hospital. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Because I went to the hospital, my blood pressure was 217 over 114, 100 something. It's really, really high, y'all. Seizure, coma, stroke, freaking blood pressure. And I'm so thankful. I'm very thankful. I was in tune with my body, and I went to the hospital. So it kept me. Some about I went and peeing off the protein or whatever. I had protein in my urine. So I ended up falling pregnant again with baby number 7. We didn't try to have her. It just happened. God's timing, So I was having fun. And we ended up falling pregnant. And I ended up going to another doctor, which his name is Dr. Michael Jackson. He is a great doctor. So, if y'all ever want a good doctor in Savannah, Michael Jackson is a great doctor, and that's his name. So that's who I saw. Nosing. That's who I saw, and yeah. But he did kept asking me at every appointment, are you going to tie your tubes? I was like, oh no, my husband is getting a vasectomy. Damn well. So that was that. And I hope y'all, that's my story. So if you're not following me on Facebook, go follow me at Yolanda Lemus. Okay. And follow me on Instagram at the official Lemus family. So yeah, I didn't even get to finish my hair during this video. Like, y'all don't even know how many times I caught myself trying to do it anyways. But yeah, so I'll give y'all a story time if y'all want to hear another story time about trying to get a certain gender, or I know a lot about that stuff. So, and I could tell you how I got the girl too. Even though I told y'all my last baby, baby number 7, Spain, she was not planned. She was a surprise, but I could tell y'all how to get a girl and a boy. So follow me on TikTok too, y'all. All right, love you guys.